This 20-minute flow invites you to connect to your inner fire. In yoga, we call this tapas. It also refers to the discipline and the willfulness that it takes to show up in challenging moments of our lives. We can practice this on the mat by building that capacity to stay connected to yourself through fiery movement and breath. Take a moment to set an intention for your practice, perhaps one that invites you to feel empowered and strong. Begin to connect to your breath. Maybe bringing your palms to your belly. And then from here, we're going to begin the breath of fire. This is the Kapalabhati breath. And you begin to rhythmically breathe in and out of your nose as you draw the belly towards the spine, pulling the navel back on each exhale. Allowing this to build some heat internally. You can always take breaks as needed, listening to your body. But if it feels right to you, perhaps you challenge yourself to stay with the breath just a little bit longer. Feeling some of that inner heat build, that tapas, and allowing yourself to build that willingness to stay with whatever shows up on or off the mat. And then letting this breath practice go. Taking a deep inhalation, pausing briefly at the top of the breath. Exhale, letting it go. And then we'll begin to move with the breath. Inhale, lifting your arms, and exhale, lowering your arms down. Finding this rhythm in your own body, your own breath, allowing yourself just to move some of the energy that you've cultivated in the Kapalabhati breathing. Maybe you gaze up towards your thumbs and then lower your head back down, allowing yourself to just find some joy in this moment. As you feel ready, letting this go, we'll begin to shift into another strengthening shape, Navasana. Now you can always keep your toes down on the mat, your hands behind your knees, or perhaps finding some balance behind your sits bones, freeing your feet, your arms up towards the sky. And then we'll move a little bit in and out of Navasana and Ardha Navasana. Coming to a lift and then lowering halfway down. You can find your range of motion. Again, you can always keep your feet on the floor, allowing yourself to explore this challenge so long as it's right for you and your body. Reach, lengthen, and then let's go ahead and lower all the way down onto your back. We'll continue to connect to the core, taking the hands behind the head. Begin to exhale as you lift, inhale as you lower, waking up through that solar plexus, your third chakra, the element of fire once again. Again, you can find your pace and your rhythm, exploring this in whatever way is right for your body. Maybe you lift the feet off of the earth, an option to do this with the knees stacked above your hips. We'll add on to our core sequence now with a gentle bicycle, taking each elbow across to opposite knee, feeling that connection to your core as that wraps around your side bodies. Finding your rhythm, your pace. And when you feel complete, we'll take the hands behind the knees, rocking up and over, and we're going to plant down through the forearms, stepping the feet back and making your way to a forearm plank. We're still connecting to the core here, a different relationship to gravity. And you might find stillness or a little bit of movement, maybe gazing forward and then sending your gaze back towards your toes. A little bit of a reaching through the heart and a curling everything to midline. One more breath here. And then we'll begin to walk the feet up towards your forearms, making your way into a dolphin shape. In dolphin, once again, I'll invite you to connect to that sense of empowerment, that inner strength and courage. The courage not only connected to your heart, but also to your core, your courage, right? So feeling empowered, strong here. One more breath, and then let's take a rest. Sending your hips towards your heels and allowing yourself to integrate what you've done so far. Simply receiving. Okay, we'll come back and rest again soon, but for now, making your way into tabletop. Taking a breath in cat-cow, moving through the spine, allowing yourself to feel connected to that strength and simultaneously that flexibility. We'll curl the toes under and pressing back, downward facing dog. You might find a little bit of movement here, just integrating and waking up your body in this shape. Settling into some stillness. And then we'll take a walk to the front of your mat, allowing yourself to find a halfway lift and then letting it go in some version of a forward fold, maybe a ragdoll with hands to opposite elbows, or perhaps you release the hands down to the earth, finding a little bit of movement, shaking your head. And then we'll find a strong transition up to standing, allowing yourself to bend at the knees and take the torso parallel to the ground. Gazes down long through the back of your neck. Draw the navel center towards the spine. Feel your strength. Maybe you take the fingertips forward, pausing here, connecting your feet to the earth, connecting to the core, and pressing down to lift all the way up to standing. Hands to heart center. We'll find our way through a sun salutation. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, and exhale, forward fold. Finding a halfway lift, lengthen through your spine, and then planting your hands, stepping back to a high plank. This time, we'll take the knees, the chest, and the chin to the earth for an inchworm, and inhale to lift your chest into cobra. Let's press back into a puppy dog pose. Very brief, just stacking your hips above your knees, sending your chest, your chin forward, and then making your way to downward facing dog. Finding your breath, we're going to keep flowing. Maybe shortening your stance slightly, and we'll take a little pounce forward, maybe a little hover. Settling your feet to the earth, finding a halfway lift, inhale, exhale. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's find our way through once again. Inhale, sweeping the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we flow your way to downward dog. You can come through high plank to the earth for cobra, or halfway down, lifting to upward dog. And exhale as you feel ready into downward facing dog. This is your practice, finding your way to the front of the mat. Maybe you find a handstand. It's up to you. All right, finding a halfway lift once again. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale all the way up to standing. At some point, I'll do a little handstand tutorial with you all, and we'll have some fun with that together. For now, connecting to that empowerment and that inner strength through Utkatasana, bending through the knees and allowing your arms to lift, exploring that relationship between the lowering of the hips, the lifting of the arms, and we'll move with the breath. Inhale, exhale. One more. This time, interlacing the hands, sending the connected hands back. Maybe find a little balance here as you lift your heels off of the mat. Setting the heels down, making your transition up through Tadasana to forward fold, your halfway lift, and your way once again to downward facing dog. However you would like to get there, vinyasa or no vinyasa. Once in down dog, we will inhale to lift the right leg back and behind and exhale to step it through, making your way to warrior one, grounding through the back heel, a moment to square the hips forward just to the point that it's comfortable, and then allow the rib cage to come forward and arms can sweep up. Maybe your gaze lifts. Finding the empowerment of the warrior stance, all the ways that life calls to us to show up. And we'll stay with our warrior series coming into warrior two. Perhaps taking your gaze over your right fingertips, bending a little more deeply into that right knee. And connecting to your breath. We'll take a reverse warrior here, lifting up, maybe even gazing up towards those right fingertips and making your way into an extended side angle. We're just flowing through these shapes, allowing yourself to find the length of the side body. That core that we woke up earlier comes in handy now. So that we're not just collapsing into these shapes, we're feeling lifted, strong, courageous. Making your way out of that as we come into a reverse triangle, lengthening through the right leg, maybe gazing up, and then reaching, and rotating into Trikonasana. Exploring the right location for your gaze, for your neck. Maybe you gaze up, maybe you gaze down. Letting this have your own unique expression. It's your body, it's your practice. Slowly we unwind. Let's lift through a 5-pointed star. Lengthen and then lower, bending the knees into a goddess pose. Opening up the arms here and a little goal post as a power pose here. And then once again, let's add breath of fire, drawing the navel back to the spine. Inhale, lengthen through the legs, reach the arms up, and we'll take our warrior series to the back of the mat. This time bending into the left knee, making your way into warrior one. Squaring the hips, the rib cage, lifting through the arms. Feeling your strength. The groundedness in your legs and your feet. And as you're ready, we'll open this up to warrior two. A little footwork here in your transition. This time we open the hips and we gaze over the left fingertips. Perhaps coming back to your intention for this flow. Especially in moments of challenge, our mind can come in handy, walking us through, helping us stay connected. Inhale, let's reverse our warrior, looking up, and then coming into an extended side angle. Why are you here? Connecting to your own embodied experience of aliveness. Breathing into the side body. We're not sinking into the pose, we're staying empowered, strong, feeling that lightness of being as we lift away, lengthening through the left leg, reverse triangle, and then long reach as we release forward into Trikonasana once again, side 2, finding where it's right for your neck, gazing up to the side or down. And then slowly we'll make our transition out of this shape. We soften through the left knee. We come up through a warrior 2 briefly. We revisit that 5-pointed star. And this time we'll prepare for a forward fold, interlacing your hands behind your sacrum, lifting through the heart, toes slightly turned in as we lower the upper body over the legs. Reaching the connected hands up overhead, opening up through the back of the heart, the shoulder girdle, letting the head be heavy. A slight bend in your knees as needed, protecting your hamstrings. We're not overdoing it here. And then slowly releasing the hands by way of the sacrum to the earth. We're going to toe heel the feet in until they're closer, just wider than hip width apart. Toes facing out, and we can settle the hips down into a Malasana, Garland pose. A squat, and you can always sit on a block or use your hands here on the earth to help support you. You can place the elbows to the inside of the thighs, a little lift here of the chest, opening again across the collarbones. And then we will settle the hips down to the earth here. Now we'll transition in preparation for a reverse tabletop. So we'll plant the soles of the feet, the hands, fingers towards the hips, and then lifting the hips up. You can keep the chin tucked, or maybe you allow the head to come back, connecting to your courageous heart. And one more option to add in that breath of fire in reverse tabletop. Exhaling, drawing navel to spine. And inhale deeply. Exhale, setting the hips onto the floor and curling in onto yourself. Arms can wrap around your legs, perhaps forehead resting onto your knees. This is a moment to hug yourself once again, to shift into that receptive mode. And then I'll invite you to extend the legs forward. We'll make our way into Pachimotanasana, seated forward fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, finding your way in. And your knees can be bent. You can allow this to be soft or strong. Maybe you work with a long spine. Maybe you curl over the legs. Listening to your body and adapting this shape so that it's right for you. Very slowly inhale, lengthen. And then making your way all the way down onto your back. I'll invite a visit here to fish pose. by placing your palms down under your hips, pressing into your forearms, and then allowing yourself to lift through the heart. Now, if it feels right, you might allow the crown of the head to reach down towards the mat. Listening to your body here, you can always use a block for a supported fish. When you feel ready, once again, we press into the forearms to tuck the chin and lower down. We'll complete this practice with half wind removing pose, bending through the right knee, hugging it into your chest, and allowing yourself to compress through the digestive organs. And then if you like, lifting through the left leg, finding a supine figure 4, a little greeting of your right hip. You can thread the arms through, taking a hold of the back of your left knee or your shin. And then we'll switch it out. This time we extend the right leg long, keeping the left knee hugged in, massaging across the digestive organs once again, connecting to breath. And then we'll draw the right leg in, finding a supine figure 4 on this side. And in this pose, you can keep the left foot flexed, protecting the knee, taking a hold underneath the right leg this time, and breathing into your left hip. One final shape here as we release through the legs and hug both knees into your chest for a moment. A kind of embryo pose on your back before descending down into Shavasana, our final resting shape. In this final shape, this is an opportunity to simply receive your practice, being nourished by your relationship to gravity, knowing that for right now you have done enough, you are enough, and that it's an opportunity to let go. Softening through your brow. Your shoulders are heavy, releasing your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Now you might stay here longer, or if you're ready, wanting to transition into the rest of your day, bending your knees, maybe rolling to your side for an embryo once again, and then we'll come back up to sitting. These final few moments of practice are an opportunity to tune in. Notice what's changed in this short 20-minute practice. Receiving that experience, bowing head to heart. Namaste.